man, I'm open up in my gutter. But you put it in the kitchen, so much like well, like a patu. The singers and DJs and social media's coming at you. 300% free. Garbage pile of it. Give the teacher them pay. I see corruption fee. Mash down the people them out. Every day appear arms out. Appear money them a thief. And them a sell out the beach. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy candle, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch a line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again. Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and they down in the whatever. Them a bull money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them smell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start and thief when them sell. On the tree they market man. On them a tree they cat man. On the tree they peanut man. On them a tree they dirt man. On them a tree they sun man. On them a Stibby dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good morning, and welcome to the Global Television Group. Thank you for joining us. It is your After Glance program. It is the aftermath of Hurricane BERYL. The diaspora is entirely worried sick as no one is able to get in touch with most of us in the diaspora. It should be said, is finding it rather difficult to get in touch with our families at home, particularly on my side of the town, Southwest Jamaica and St. Elizabeth. That coastline from Alligator Pond going down to White House and so on, that took that scathing battering of the eye is really cut off, and we are unable to get in touch with any of our family. Let us know if you are in the chat and you are from anywhere in Jamaica. Give us an update of what has happened in your area. If you're from the diaspora and you have managed to contact your family, let us know. Let us know how your family weathered Hurricane BERYL and its force that came with it. My understanding, if your family is using Line, it might be easier get in touch with them, but the digital system is really down from my understanding. But I'm just not getting through to anyone in St. Elizabeth. I only managed to speak to 2 contacts since morning. One of my contacts in Portland and one in Kingston. I'm also hearing that St. Thomas has also been battered as well. But good morning and welcome. Good morning to my cut-off community of Parity, all my family members. Hoping everyone made it through safely on the other side of Hurricane BERYL. We wish and hope that the entire Jamaica, despite the scathing battering, everyone would have made it through safely. We're not getting so far. I have not got any information on damage assessment or anything, no information whatsoever to rely on at the moment. Platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, and subscribers, good morning. Debbie Jervis. If we go slower this man, come and go read it. Let's look on the comment as we go down. No, Debbie, still not able to get in touch with a soul. And our coastline took a battering. Natalia Freeman, good morning. Good morning. Our coastline took a battering. Michelle Lewis Wilson, God's gift. Sonia Foster. Christopher Campbell. Monica Wells. Jamaica Consultant Embassy activated diaspora to support all her. Jennifer Haven, good morning. Jennifer says her family are okay. Sunshine, good morning. Good morning. Shelter Reed. Hold on, people. Michelle. Sorry, I forgot I was muted. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. That call was from one of my cousins. He had to call direct because they can't call out of Jamaica via WhatsApp and so on. So he had to call me directly. They are going through our community of parity at the moment, doing damage assessment, and where they have gotten so far, it's not on the coastline yet, and it's devastation all the way. I hope my sound is back now. Tell me my sound is back now, please. My sound is back now. Let me know. Let me know if the audio is back. I did, oh yes, it's back. They are moving through the community on foot at the moment, doing damage assessment. Several houses has flattened, like the more wooden structure houses, they're flattened. The more brick structure house, but quite a few of them has lost their roofs. There's several lampposts. There's several poles down, light poles down, many trees down. There's an urgent call out to Floyd Green and all the emergency apparatus. The community of parity requires that there are no vehicle movement in the community at the moment because so many trees are down, so many poles are down. Environmental wise, them say the place flattened because you can look from one community to the other. All of the tree and bush them. All of the tree and bush them, my cousins say flattened. Because which part in there at the moment we call this a half a parity. And he's seeing from half a parity, he must see up the house them upper Windad, and he must see the house them at Springfield. So all of the vegetation across our neck of the woods there flatten. My worry, the assessment continues going down the road. But my further worry is they have not gotten to the coastline yet. They're making their way to the coastline, and it is utter devastation going down because our coastline of from Alligator Pond all the way down to Black River White House, really, the eye really scathed across those areas. And he's saying, but maybe it's because they got the eye of it. This is not a category 4, it's a category 5 hurricane because of what they went through. But said several houses across the community that they have assessed so far has been damaged. Multiple trees are down across the roads. The JPS lines are down, so there's an urgent call out for JPS to attend emergency with high equipment to make sure those lines can be stabilized before the cutting and removing of trees from the road. So far, my community has been cut off this morning. We have not managed yet to get assessment done on the possible flooding along the coastline or the tidal surge along the coastline, which the danger may be, it may be more devastating along that line if, because where my cousin and the others has assessed so far, them area they're like 3-4 miles from the coastline. So them people are that devastation that were explained to me, and them people up on the hard land, reach down a beach yet. So he's going to call me back to give me further um, information on the community as they go along the community doing their assessment. But it really doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good at all. Let me see if I bring in some image from the Jamaica eye thing. Hold on, let me see. That is from Indian Broadcasting. So if anyone from the government is listening, if anybody who can get in touch with Flight Green is listening, the community of Parity in Southwest St. Elizabeth is devastated. It is one of the coastline. I know that from Alligator Pan come all the way down there will be devastation. If anyone from Floyd Green office is listening, it is important to get a lot of heavy equipment. If anyone from Floyd Green office is listening, if anyone from the government is listening, if anyone from St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation is listening, if anyone from the Jamaica Public Service is listening, a lot of heavy lifting equipment is required in Party St. Elizabeth at the moment. The area is devastated. It has been cut off. Many houses are flattened. Many trees have fallen in the road. Many GPS poles are down. There is no movements across the community at the moment other than on foot. If anyone is here from the government this morning or from any of the public services, the community of Parity in St. Elizabeth, the southwest coastline of St. Elizabeth has been utterly devastated by Hurricane BERYL. It is important to attend the constituency of southwest St. Elizabeth along the coastline. They have been cut off due to the severity um, of the storm. Um, I can see, compared to what we were seeing at Flatbridge yesterday, you can see changes where the water has risen, and there are debris from all sorts of the bridge resting at the corner there at Flatbridge. So you can see that a lot of water was pumped into that river yesterday. The weather continues in a more less threatening way, but the damage assessment across the country, the damage assessment across the country at the moment is what we are really waiting for as communities make their way across because they have to do everything on foot because they can't even call other family members within the community. So they have to go house by house, doing all that assessment. I know at the moment a lot of this would be happening right across Jamaica where community members are going through and through their community doing their assessment on foot. The city, as I understand it, has escaped the danger with minimal effects. I cannot see much of my people from anywhere in Jamaica online here this morning. Is there anyone here online from Jamaica this morning? If you are, type yes no so I can know that I'm focusing on the comment. I know that there's a lot of people that are not in the comment this morning because of the communication disturbance across the island. If any of your family is on the Flow network and you are getting through to them, please let me know. I'm also waiting for my cousin to call me back further to give me update on the damage assessment across our community. I don't think there's anyone much from Jamaica logging on this morning at all. It is just devastating for a lot of us in the diaspora where we're called everybody. Somebody just texted me back from Jamaica to say they're okay. The service is really down. I hope Flow and Digicel is doing all they can along with the Jamaica Public Service to get things back up and running as soon as possible. As soon as practicable possible, because we know it's going to be a lot of work all across the country, but every municipal corporation on their disaster management, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the ODPEM office, they should be fully, along with the Jamaica Defense Force, should be in full activation across the country now. My sister is in Portmore, just text me, but she used an American phone. When I connected Spring Garden Street, Thomas. You connected them. Are they okay in St. Thomas? Your joke is my pain. Are they okay in St. Thomas? Diane, have you heard from your family at home? When I am in Jamaica, nothing to report from my area. Digicel is up and running, but 65% of the island is without electricity. If you are here, let us know what is happening in your area. If you have contacts with your relatives, let us know. If you have heard from anyone this morning, let us know if you've heard from any of your family. Open your family are okay and what this. Well, one of my cousins, I spoke to one of my cousins a short while ago, and he's going through the community along with others doing damage assessment. Clarendon, I heard Rocky Point. Rocky Point was expected to bear some of the brunt. Rocky Point and Lionel Town, those areas were expected to bear some of the brunt as well. It is national cleanup. National cleanup has started in Jamaica, but particularly in my area, the Jamaica Public Service will need to attend emergency with their heavy lifting equipment because several poles are down in my community, and before they can have access to cut and remove those trees out of the road, the JPS needs to look after that side of things and risk before that is done. So Flight Green constituency is ravished, really. A vast sway of Flight Green constituency. If you're listening, Minister, you should be out with your full apparatus doing the damage assessment, given the trajectory of the storm and where the eye has passed. So every efforts, every coordination from the emergency services at the moment is required on the southwest leg of St. Elizabeth, mainly along the coastline and the inner land of the coastline, who has been severely devastated by the storm. I have no electricity and no internet except for the digital service on my phone. My neighbor fence blown away. I'm in Florida. My sister called from Portland. She's okay. I spoke to one of my contacts in Portland this morning as well. They didn't do their damage assessment yet. He will get back to me when their damage assessment is done. I spoke to one of my contacts in Kingston. By and large, Kingston escaped a lot from my understanding so far, even though a full assessment has not been done yet. But Kingston seemed to have spared a lot from Spanish Town. We never had any issues with electricity and water. Not even one tree felled. We are all okay. I don't think there is any damage. Okay, thank you very much for that update. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I have not gone around to look. I've not gone out to look around yet. Thank God we didn't lose a lot of lives. The two that I heard about could have prevented if they followed instructions. So Michelle is saying so far she's heard of 2 loss of life. My son lives in Montego Bay. Have you had an update from him, Sonia? Norman Manley International is heavily damaged. Sorry. How has the damage been in Montego Bay? but I'm waiting to get further update on my community because cousin Myrna is along that coastline as well. The last time I managed to have contact with her was after I came off live last night. He's okay and no damage to his property. I think it should be mandatory for people living along the coastline to evacuate. I support that too because I pleaded with them, but Jamaicans really stubborn when it comes to following instruction in a hurricane. It's really, really difficult to get them to listen. Everything. One woman in Hanover was killed by a tree, and a young man was playing football and went after the ball in the gully and got washed away. My God. Preventatives, especially for the young man. Kingston got it passing on the south side of Kingston. House damage, 3 fell down. A youth got in the gully to collect ball when the gully come down and was washed away. A lot of us in the diaspora are sick, worried this morning. Countless of us. Because all we do, many of we in the diaspora from morning, all we do from we get up, we call everybody where we can try contact in our family or anybody we can get any sort of information from our family. That is the thing that most of us has been doing all morning. As I say, I'm just waiting for further damage assessment as they're assessing the more critical part of our community along the coastline, because up on the harder land, I haven't heard anything from my family in Hanover. Up on the harder land, what we call up a road like Springfield or Crossroad, them place they were hit hard, and them place they are miles from the coastline. Good morning, a beautiful day to give thanks to the Lord our God, and not to pour all that praise to you. I do believe so. Because especially Phil coastline apart here, we have the sea in front of it and we have a lake behind we. So we're just on a little strip of land in the middle of 2 puddle of water. So of course, area like mine, government should update the DRNA law or whatever it is to make sure mandatory evacuation for coastline and flood prone area people. We know where all of these, texting from St. Catherine, we have light and internet, not able to contact other family members in the country or reach them due to block roads. That is one of the things that is a major problem across the country right now. The amount of trees that have been fallen across the country, it makes movability across the country extremely difficult. And we're calling on ODPEM, the government, and local government, given what we understood yesterday from the direction of the storm that critical assessment is needed across the island, but particularly on the southwest coast of the island, with the ice caved along. And those areas have seemed to have come under some devastation. Yes, when I'm living near the crossroads, so that's why I say we got it. Hurricane hit us passing on the south coast. Then Maria, what does Maria says? Just be careful, you have more heavy rain heading towards the island. That's possible, Maria. Wholly possible at this point. We are not safe from that at the moment. Heading toward the island the next day or two. So the flooding might be a problem for some time. That is true. That is true. Good morning, Wayne, and everyone. How are you? Good morning, Isilda. We never even get to do a proper roll call to the whole honor this morning, but good morning to everyone. To those of you who have joined, good morning and welcome. We are contacting Jamaica this morning to see. We are contacting Jamaica this morning to see how our family has made it through the storm this morning, and if you are able to get in touch with your family or friends or community across the country, please do let us know. If you have idea of the damage assessment anywhere across the country, please do let us know this morning. But just let us tap into this broadcast for a while and see what's going on.
A couple hours ago, but multiple life-threatening hazards playing out across Jamaica now. The core winds of a Category 4 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of over 140 miles per hour are now on portions of Jamaica. We're seeing some ham radio reports of damage, wind damage occurring, storm surge occurring in this onshore flow here, where we're seeing these southerly and southeasterly winds into the southern coast of Jamaica. We're expecting to see storm surge of 6 to 9 feet above normal tide levels, with dangerous breaking waves and damaging wave action on top of that. So very dangerous conditions ongoing now in Jamaica, and they are going to continue for the next several hours. Everybody's going to want to stay sheltered in place through the rest of the day, through tonight. As you can also see, BERYL is centered about 265 miles to the east-southeast of Grand Cayman. So the Cayman Islands are sort of next in line for seeing significant impacts. And again, BERYL's moving west-northwest pretty quickly at about 18 miles per hour. So if we look at the forecast, where is it headed next? BERYL is going to be moving west-northwestward, again, across the Caribbean, with those hurricane and tropical storm force winds beginning to affect the Cayman Islands later this afternoon and tonight, where hurricane warnings are in effect for Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Grand Cayman. Early Friday morning, or overnight Thursday night into Friday morning, we have a hurricane warning that's in effect.
Well, Rupert, the little eye, it tells me something about my audio. I think it's the screen audio is talking. I think my audio is fine. I'm hearing that St. Thomas had it badly. St. Elizabeth had it badly along its southwest coastline from Alligator Pond coming down all the way going down to White House and so on. That coastline has been severely battered. An assessment has been done in my community at the moment by community members and some of my family members. It is devastation as they move along our community, because we are on that coastline between Treasure Beach and Black River is our coastline. So we have I'm not aware of anything major from Clarendon yet. Clarendon line and the Lionel Town area, Rocky Point and Lionel Town was expected to feel a brunt as well. Good morning, thank God, Jamaica. How is the Donald Song of International Airport? The Donald Songs International Airport. I'm not hearing anything from Donald Songs yet, the WB, but some damage has been reported from Norman Manley Airport over Port Royal. I think quite a lot of damage and tidal surges in Port Royal I was hearing and seeing from some videos as well. But we are yet to have an official assessment from the state. Let me see if there's any, check on any of these state broadcasters if they are out there yet. Let me check the Prime Minister face on page on social media to see if he has put out any official assessment. Hold on. Nothing updated on the Prime Minister's social media in the last 8 hours, really. So nothing new, not come out yet. I don't see where PBCJ or JIS broadcasters are live. Neither am I seeing any of the Jamaican broadcasters at the moment on screen and stream. Let's get back into the comments and see. Most reports in America are from the newscaster that are in Montego Bay, which had some damage to roof, 3 down. Haven't heard anything from the Prime Minister or TV yet. No, I'm looking as well on social media and I'm not seeing anything coming out from the media. Hold on. Normal operation of government, ministry, department, and agency are to resume on Thursday, following passing of Information Minister, what she just says. So the government has transitioned to assessment and response mode following the passage of the hurricane on the island on Wednesday. Only discontinued as BERYL move away from Jamaica. Nothing assessment-wise at the moment. Hold on. Nothing assessment-wise is really coming out at the moment. Hold on. Alric Dyer is among 3 young men attempting to clear Winston Jones Highway in Mandeville, Manchester, after downed trees blocked the road during Hurricane Beryl. With the hurricane now past, cleanup efforts are underway island-wide.
Jones Highway in Mandeville in the vicinity of Marshall's Pen. It's blocked at the moment.
There's a cleanup effort across the island, as we know and we would be aware. But there's no official reporting as to the damage across the country at the moment, which is what we're waiting for from government and media sources across the island. We are also waiting for JPS to restore service so that communication can get back on the way. Because that is one of the big worry for relatives and friends in the diaspora. We are unable to get an assessment on our family members across the country. But as I said, no official. This is what everyone is waiting for, an official assessment of the damage, an official report from government as to the damage left behind from yesterday's hurricane. So we'll wait patiently for all of that. There's not a lot coming out. Some images along the roadways start surface in the papers, but what we need is a proper damage assessment across the country. We need a proper damage assessment across the country, and that's what we're waiting for from governments. We know we're getting a few images along the roadways, but we do need to hear from deeper into the community as to the people themselves. We are aware that a lot of tree has fallen across the country, which, the truth be told, it's going to make it much more difficult for the emergency service to move across the country. But we're still calling on them to work expeditiously across the country in order to, one, alleviate what is going on in all the communities, as well as getting back the country on its foot in a matter of days. We know the communities across our country is well prepared to assist in the cleanup efforts across the country. I can see River Road leading to Flatbridge as block on screen. Yeah, out of Sihide, out of Flatbridge block, all of the debris, our Flatbridge there. All of the debris will float along the bridge and off the soil on top. Hold on. Go back to Flatbridge. All of the debris floating along the bridge. Come top right there, so. Or if I move to something. This year one again. This year another one. Yeah, you can see the water rise down a flat bridge, as well as you can see a lot of debris come rest on. Good morning. In spite of the song, God is in the midst. Not hearing anything from Mandeville, Manchester. And it's great at checking things, so we should get an update soon. Dr. Brown, this is sometime we offer tech serious to release pressure. And just, we take him his word and so the might plan that. I can see the road. See me be working in St. Thomas. So flow seem to be working. Okay, flow seem to be working in St. Thomas. No digital. It's the same thing I'm hearing in St. Elizabeth as well. Your joke. The flow network will work down there, but not the Digicel. And most of my people them are Digicel. All of them have. I haven't heard from my son and daughter-in-law since 6:30 p.m. last night. They are with. I'm seeing months to be hoping to hear from them soon. Prayer for the people of Jamaica. It's a trying time for everybody. That's it. But at least we have a slight bit of update from the community this morning. Because the brunt that they took, I know it would have been serious along. My cousin said to me, I can't even take no pictures and Congo because I don't even know which picture to take because everywhere mash up. And then again, them don't have a lot of battery on them phone. Them don't have a lot of phone life left. Another tropical depression is coming the same direction as BERYL. No, sir. But Flight Green, if you're here, if you're hearing, if anybody there we can get a message to Flight Green, your constituency is devastated, has been devastated over the last few hours by Hurricane BERYL. Both the local government and the Jamaica Public Service need a lot of cutting and heavy lifting equipment in order to clear the roads, one, to raise up them lamp pole were gone down. It's the community per se has been cut off. And we have not yet managed and you have not yet managed the serious conversation we need to have, because my contact I spoke in Portland this morning, they had the solar panels. The conversation we need to have after BERYL is really should Jamaicans independently take it on themselves to invest in solar panel? Something one can buy on Amazon just like one buy any other else thing on Amazon? Because I have a lot of questions to ask, Prime Minister. But in the time of disaster, one must allow the disaster to flow. But could this cut off Jamaica this morning, could the people of Jamaica this morning survive in a digital society, in a paperless society, in a cashless society, Prime Minister? But leave that debate for another time. We are also at the moment, Prime Minister, carefully watching our children, because we know that in this chaos before order comes, a whole heap of we picking on our plan to pick up half a road. We're watching keenly and carefully. Because we also see a stand take them away, When we turn round until we see a storm take them away. So no because hear say we are talk about storm, don't believe say we are watch everything else. Don't believe say we now watch how you walk around the island in a rain cloak and play your optics, Prime Minister. Don't bother believe say we now watch how you lash your hand with glee over the catastrophe ban payout, Prime Minister. We are watching, we are looking, but we're dealing with the first and foremost, the life and property of the Jamaican people. So we know why you walk and swing around the country, promising tarpaulin and all of that. Prime Minister, the 5 million you donated to each, you apportioned or whatever to each constituency for disaster relief from the Constituency Development Fund. 5 million is not enough to clean up the devastation in Southwest in Floyd Green constituency, Prime Minister. We want more pound with maturity band money. Come and notice your run count, issue that out because that our maturity band payment. But we are watching. We're dealing with the disaster, but we're watching because we know that this is the time that stealing ramped up, Prime Minister. Given butter and puss, milk and puss, honey and puss. We're watching. St. Elizabeth mashed up to Pamela, the southwest coastline from, what you call it, from Alligator Pond coming down, going down to White House for the Westmoreland front. Because the thingy line there, me clean tree branch and leaf till me tired. Which part of, which parish of the island you there, Kevin? And how has the damage assessment in your community? How is the damage assessment in your community? Well, you can definitely see the movement in Halfway Tree has increased. Beulah, how are you? Carlos Wagwan. The movement in Halfway Tree increases compared to yesterday, as we understood Kingston was not dealt with bluntly by the storm, but we are very much interested to hear of the damage assessment on the southwest coastline, that southern coastline of Jamaica. the southern and western coastline of Jamaica, particularly the southwestern end, which took the brunt of the storm. Carlos, after I spoke to you, I managed to speak to one of my cousins, Kevin's in Kingston. Kingston wasn't so violently treated as I understand. And the assessment going through my community at the moment, Carlos, is devastation. Like the more wooden structure houses are flattened. Other houses where we think would withstand the storm, their roof has taken flight. Trees flattened across the community. Lampposts flattened. JPS lines down. Trees down across the road. Everything moving across the community at the moment can only be done on foot. Further assessment of the coastline will be done and they will contact me back. But so far, they have met up on devastation as they move throughout our community. But we're still waiting for further update as they assess along. We're also waiting for an official update and assessment from the government as to the damage, and we're calling out Floyd Green and the St. Elizabeth Municipal Corporation and JPS, JDF, and everybody. We need all the emergency heavy lifting equipment in Party St. Elizabeth at the moment as the area has been cut off. The devastation along the coastline from Alligator Pond down to White House would have been in a pretty much similar condition. So the whole of that coastline required urgent assessment and attention. So would they await for further assessment? Greeting wholeness, talk to both and then no start clean up flat bridge up to emergency people. Well, let's see how the cleanup efforts goes across the country. We're hoping that JPS can restore power across the country as soon as possible. I think given how we know our people are, we're not going to accept that though, and the amount of lines down, because thus far in my community, 7 lines, 7 poles were down, and that was just a small assessment of the community. The entire community has not yet been properly assessed. Several trees and lines were down. So we're called upon Floyd Green and all of those people. Urgent attention and assessment is required. Let's take a short break and we'll join you back shortly. Welcome back. The conversations we should be having in the aftermath of Hurricane BERYL, given how much we see the failure or the lacking of holding up, albeit in a disaster of our infrastructure. Should we now not have the serious conversation about Jamaicans independently investing in solar energy? A lot of our family members we are unable to contact is because of lack of power this morning. Is it now time that we look as a people at other ways of supplying energy? Is the monopoly of the Jamaica Public Service working for the people in such a time like now? Is there a need to relook at our infrastructure as well and our disaster preparedness rules? Because I think rather than the Prime Minister imposing a 7-day curfew, what the Prime Minister should have done is impose a mandatory evacuation on low-lying and coastlines and flood-prone areas. We need to also look at a different way of energy supply in our country, because those who have solar panel this morning still have power. But those who depend on the expensive JCF has been out of power even before the storm hit. I get the protective measure taken here. I do. Given the amount of power lines that went down across the country, the risk of water and electricity clashing in a storm could have created fire and danger in the midst of one disaster unfolding. That is sensible to do. But the restoration, we're not going to beat them too hard because they're just light. But has the time come for us to look at other alternative method of power supply? Is it 150 million US or 150 million Jamaican dollars? Clarify for me, please. The catastrophe bond. Is it 150 US or 150 million? 150 mil US, 150 mil Jamaica. Which one? But seriously, people, we have to look at our power supply. In the long run, wow. In the long run, Lord Jesus, so a billion, how much billion that on work out if you know? How much billion in a Jamaica dollar that there? You make case and work out, you know, say me dunce, good dunce, and confused by a number. Work out how much a billion in a Jamaica dollar them have for teeth for me, no, please. Work out how much them have got teeth for me, please. Please, oh. Please, oh. Work out for me how much them have got teeth. We want to know the teeth in amount. Can't know say the teeth in amount, you know. More than the amount we spend on Jamaica. You calculate to make work out the teeth in amount. On the make case on the bright numbers brain people. On the make case and work it out. Make we know the teeth in amount. we are considering nuclear, which is not a good idea for Jamaica. Nuclear is not a good idea for Jamaica. It's definitely not, because what Jamaica have to dispose of nuclear waste, where is Jamaica going to? No, Debbie, you have to talk that in English, this is in a maths. The 23 what, billion, 400 million Jamaica dollars. So I saw if you read. Tell me if I saw if you read. 23 billion, 400 million. Cock a penny royal. So can we find a 1 point? Oh, no, say me dunce. 23 billion. So they now go get to manage to thief 1.7 trillion out of this. Oh, God, they lose. I don't know me dunce. Me don't know how it go. Any trillion they thief out of this, yeah? Because I don't know them the people thieving at the trillions. We don't know they not take time thief. So how much we going to get out of that when them done thief? We don't take out the thieving amount now. Subtract the thieving amount. We don't have to give them the more apart, Make sure no fix it so them get more. No subtract the thieving part. Make we know how much we entitled to out of that 23 billion 400 million. Can we know them not take the 24? It better them if them are got thief, them are thief the 23 billion. If we get anything, we get the 400 million, and them something that we deserve. And them something that we deserve. So the 23 million by vote turn up, Lord Jesus. I know young people are going rich. We're not cheap young people. We're not cheap young people. Bully beef gone up. Rice stepping up. Flour gone up. Everything I raise. We don't raise on the vote price. When you don't see the Prime Minister get 600 million from King Charles, 100 million US in catastrophe bond. When you don't see the Prime Minister ready for the road. Come from off of the back road and go on the high street and demand good price. Come off of the back road price cheap. You need to go in those uptown clubs and go demand price. You can't sit down and sell. Vote so cheap when the Prime Minister have billions and millions and trillions to walk and buy and out. Then you go sell out on yourself cheap. And say all in go is $5 million per constituency. $5 million per constituency. Using $5 million can clean up St. Elizabeth, Prime Minister. $5 million Prime Minister is not enough to clean up my community at the moment. The amount of tree down, the amount of lamppost down. Me know all the road they must get up and walk where Fly Green just piss pan and roll the other day. Hurry up and assess the damage, Prime Minister, and make case reassess the money. So far, what I have heard, just in my community, $5 million can't deal with what went down in our constituency. The news I got out of Watchwell, I heard that Watchwell is flattened. And they are not too very close to the coastline. Imagine what Cheddar Beach, PJ Plain, and Floggerman, Parity, Black River, White House, all of those coastline. So we wanted to make case check and come give us some official report of the damage across the country. We are given a few more hours because we know we're not be unkind to you. We know they just light down there. But we know say Uno can check the devastation across the country by air. JPS need to put every effort in across the country, particularly the hard-hit areas of the country where so much JPS lines are down. So a lot of money, Prime Minister, is need. The JPS at the moment needs a lot of money. The JPS need to spend a lot of the thieving money at the moment, but then hold on poor people and go in a poor people pocket, because a lot of dilapidated lines JPS across the country, but sometimes we don't know about and don't do nothing, because just the other day JPS one outside a Antidana region there, 100 road, Kadana there 99, was in a dilapidated condition, about to fall down. They there for a long time and reported many times. And when Antidana go upon the live, on a run, come round, they come do something to it. We know say some lamp pole there before we grandmother born, we're in a condition where them not fit for purpose, and not just leave them in a dilapidated condition. So 50 million for clean up halfway tree. 50 million for clean up halfway tree? Or halfway tree, what would that cost so much if Kingston wasn't so battered? Look at halfway tree, where look pan you now, you know. Out here so look just like how it did look before the storm. You know, say I know the whole of halfway tree we see at the moment. But out there so look like just how it did look before the storm. So, you know, and they can't lie on a story. Can't tell we. Rusty not come on yet. Rusty channel live, but Rusty not come on since morning. The storm is, I was calling a young lady this morning. On TikTok. Her name is Stephanie. And the hurricane was going through, what's him call it? Going through Grand Cayman, but at a category 3 much weaker state than was felt by Jamaica, really. But as you know, all the way across the diaspora, we're clutched to a phone them to just hear just about anything. Any update on Junction, Bulsov, Top Hill, and Southfield? Marcia, not directly, no, but St. Elizabeth on the southwest end, I'm told, is devastated. One of my cousins in London here spoke to somebody in Watchwell this morning, and they're saying Watchwell is being flattened. There's assessment going on in my community of parity at the moment, and it's devastation along the way as they go along. Many homes flatten or lose their roof. JPS poles are down, many trees are down in the roads as well, but the assessment continues. As the day goes along, we are going to hear much more coming out from all different angles. But we're keeping an eye out and we're taking note of the day Definitely, when we come back for Drive Time London, those time we will be able to get somewhat of an assessment from the state by then, because it should be, sorry, it will be about lunchtime Jamaica then. By we come back 6, 7 o'clock this evening UK time, it will be around lunchtime in Jamaica. So we should be able by then to have a more updated assessment from the state and from our families across the country. But we are urging JPS and the National Work Agency to put all the efforts into getting Jamaica moving again, because as it stands, the country is not moving. The amount of trees and poles down across the island make it rather difficult for some communities to even move around safely in their communities. And we know before power resumes, they will have to make sure all of these down lines are upright and secure before proper power restore, particularly to that section of St. Elizabeth. So I'm asking the question again, is it time for the people of Jamaica to start investing in solar power, as we've seen that in the moment of a disaster, our public system is not able to hold the country up? I know the power there's, especially on that brunt of Jamaica that faced the eye of the storm. I know there's going to be a massive task for the JCF, and they need to craft in whoever they can from the army, bring in whatever heavy lifting equipment they can in order to restore these many down power lines across our constituency. And I can guarantee you that that just doesn't apply to my area, but that's the information I can speak of at the moment, given the assessment by my family. So we know that JPS have an awful lot of work to do. An awful lot of work JPS have to do to erect and stabilize a lot of power lines across the country before they can properly restore power to the country. By then, a lot of people are going to be cut off from the communication world for a while. For those who don't have generator or solar power, they are going to be cut off from communication for a while until power has been properly restored across the country. We help them plan the flatbreads. The money. Half of the money already. What is it? Flatbreads take half of the money for clean up. No, sir. And how much chop out of the flatbreads price? How much get chop out of the flatbreads money? Because we know, say, Them nah just make you walk west so and they don't have something decently for chop. Every cleanup phase have a chopping bill attached to it. Hmm? Every cleanup phase across the country at the moment will have a chopping bill attached to it. Who chop the best end up get the most. I mean, when it come to chopping, boy, Andrew Holness and Juliet must have sorry say never them in charge of Southwest Central a little bit because that's how they chopping. But if Fly Green is being investigated, I wonder if he's going to chop carefully or careless, Mr. Green. If there is a possibility, Mr. Green, that you are one of the illicit six, are you going to chop carefully or are you going to chop loosely? Can I chop, I know. We remember how Uno chopping a Gilbert from PMP to Labour in the zinc scandal. We remember the chopping. We remember the chopping of the COVID money. So it wouldn't be unnatural in the midst of the disaster to speak of the pending chopping to come. It wouldn't be out of sync to speak about the chopping to come, given that there's a 150 million catastrophe bond relief. Given that other countries on the international scene are going to give some relief and finger flashing to Jamaica. So there's an awful lot of chopping that will be going on in the midst of the demonstration. And it is within this midst of demonstration, of disaster, that we ought to be eye-opened and eye-staringly looking at the purse. Eye-openly and eye-staringly looking at the purse. Nobody not able there on Twitter this morning because the high-class friend them over Twitter look like them get cut off from the rest of the world like everybody else. But we ought to keep an eye on the chopping situation at the moment, because if we follow the strings of our disasters and catastrophe, the chopping, remember, Dr. Tufton did just pay out money to hotels so without no bill, no receipt, no nothing. Hotels, money, just, we can't just send anybody come, they come lay down and say them have COVID. Just take money in the middle of people dying. So we have to talk about the chopping that will be happening in the midst of all of this disaster faced by the nation, because this particular disaster is more lucrative than others. This disaster was indemnified. This was an indemnified disaster. An indemnity means an insurance. This disaster was an indemnified disaster. Money to make from this disaster. Fat purse of a disaster. But will that money spent wisely to rebuild and improve that weakened and battered infrastructure of Jamaica? We have to ask, we know in the midst of everything on a finger fearing, In the middle of everything, phone finger go a wall. Phone finger find something for do. Phone finger see something for take up. Of course, we have to keep an eye out. Milk that road, butter just lay down so, and puss I walk up and down. Butter that road, milk just put down so, and puss just a walk up and down. In the midst of the disaster, we must keep our eye open. Whether more our children are going to go missing, or whether the government, its contractors, and third-party contractors are going to take the public purse for a ride in the midst of this disaster. And in the end, when everything is done, we don't see a proper restoration to our community. And then government come back to parliament and tell us how many count amount of billion they have spent to clean up and restore the country. So we have to keep our eyes on their fingers, because this is a lucrative disaster. This disaster is lucrative, unlike any other disaster Jamaica has seen. So therefore, we have to focus also on how that money from the catastrophe bond will be spent. Will it be spent wisely in order to repair and improve the battered infrastructure of the country? So we not really play politics. We just talk about what our politics is. This is not really playing politics. This is talking about what politics is. I do believe so too. Because you see, in a Britain, and when you go way out in the countryside, then you're going to see no pole with any wiring and them something. Most of Britain work them is underground, both gas, water, light, telephone, everything is wired underground. Now to the Caribbean, a policy like them that we have across the Caribbean, where our infrastructure are more protected, and them type of public service they hold up in a disaster because the periphery of the infrastructure is not damaged, because everything is protected underground. You can also have your command center underground as well, where at least government media house could be able to be functioning throughout a disaster, giving you information at least of something. But to see PBCJ yesterday telling us about crocodile in the middle of a disaster unfolding in the country, I just don't get it, you know. But all I'm saying, my people, we've got to be focused. Archer's funeral home was ready. Plan stand by for dead, but for them dead. I think them lose business on the hurricane. Them may lose business one side, but them are gonna make it back the other side, because this hurricane is lucrative, unlike any other Jamaica has ever seen before. This hurricane is quite a lucrative one. It was indemnified for 150 million US dollars. This hurricane had an indemnity of 150 million US dollars. Very lucrative. Very lucrative. Whole heap of kickback Whole heap of contract just a hand out so to Dick, Tom and Harry without nothing put on paper. It's the norm in some of our public spheres, particularly the Ministry of Health. So we're not talking about anything that they haven't done in the middle of disaster unfolding. Given that there's a lot of money here, we ought to keep an eye on the money and make sure the money is spent to deal with what it was insured to do, to spend on the restoration of the country. That is what the reason, the purpose of it. To spend on the country after a disaster, to rebuild, to restore, to develop. And we're hoping that for once, something can be done honestly in Jamaica. Anybody here from anybody around at the Chai Bridge side? Nobody were there. We don't hear nothing from around that Chai Bridge. Whoa, make me stretch. Bird, oh. We don't hear nothing from around that Chai Bridge. Anybody here have relative from around that Chai Bridge side? Anybody here have any new update of the damage assessment on the island? But it's a morning where a lot of us in foreign is on a need to know. Before me get through to my cousin, I was sick worried that there's nothing coming out of my community. But now that me get through and them do them assessment, even though the community is devastated, we're still waiting to hear of any further damage. If there's no further damage, then we can say thank God. But so far, there has been a lot of damage in my community so far. I would expect from Thingy rather, what name? From Alligator Pond come down to White House, them end there. Probably on the Savlamar coastline too. Whole heap of beating go on. Because the eye of the storm scave along our coastline from Alligator Pond come down there so we get some good beating. I heard something. Yes, yes, Lilith. I'm from the southwest side as well. It's that one long stretch of coastline from Cheddar Beach come all the way down to Black River. It's that one stretch of coastline, and that coastline was battered yesterday. My community is in the middle. My coastline community is in the middle of Black River and Cheddar Beach. So we received a battering as well. But my family members are doing assessment in the community. More upon the harder land them in a few community, the devastation high. The devastation high upon the harder lands in our community. We don't get a full assessment yet of those on the coastline. I'm expecting, I have not heard from my two sons, but they are fine. The devastation is expected to be bad on the very edge of the coastline as well, where majority of my family are at the edge of the coastline, and from both sides of my family as well. From both sides of my father's side of family, upon the Paraty coastline, what we call Upper Windad, and then my mother's side of family, upon the same coastline, what we call down there, so down a Load. So both sides of my family are on the edge of the coastline between Cheddar Beach and Black River. So, can I hear from my cousin who live in McGregor Gully Vineyard Town? So the severe battering along that coastline, my community bear the brunt of it. And so far, the information coming out of my community is devastation. I expect the same thing along the coastline. You know, say I'll Black River may mash up. I'll pour derelict Black River. My brother house stop is off in river. Yes, so my cousin there tell me this morning say if you see how far some of the people them house stop fly go from them house. It look like the house stop them go for a ride before. The house stop them go for a ride before them land. But we're still waiting. We're hoping by the time we'll come back out here later on, we'll get some official update, because Jamaica wake up by now and start them assessment and clean up. The government should be able to send a helicopter around the country to get an overhead assessment, because moving by land across the country today would be extremely difficult. So we expect the government to do an aerial assessment of the damage, not here in Garnet Lane, Mountain View, Nannyville, off Mountain View. So we're hoping by midday Jamaica time, the government will be able to conduct an aerial assessment of the damages across the country and could report back to the nation and the world as to the effects of Hurricane BERYL, as well as we're hoping that much of our people across the country will get back online soon, where we can start having images and communication of the damages that Hurricane BERYL has left behind. Rather, what is your community? My community is Paraty St. Elizabeth. It's on the southwest coast between Black River and Cheddar Beach. My brother also fell off in the river of Black River, but thank to God he's alive. Wow! Oh, your brother is in Black River, neither from relatives in Old Harbor. I managed to get through to only one relative in my community. So far, they're doing a wide assessment of the community. Still have managed to get through to Cousin Myrna yet, because they are on the very coastline They are right on the edge of the coastline as well. But I can say she's okay because I spoke to her son in America this morning. By then, he didn't hear anything. But then he messaged me back to say, I spoke to mommy, but I couldn't hear what she was saying because the reception was so bad. So he knows that she is all right. Families in Clarendon can't get in touch with them because electricity is off. Yeah, Sade, how are you? That's a big problem across the country at the moment because a lot of power lines are down because if so much down in my community already. So far, when they did the assessment in my community, are 7 lines down, 7 JPS poles were down, and that wasn't a comprehensive assessment of the community. And with trees and lines down, it's going to be difficult moving across the country. But all the emergency services should be in their highest activated and readiness to start doing the cleanup work. The phone services, from my understanding, DSD, is it's mostly to do with the power Digicel. The people who have Lime, they seem to be working, which one of my cousin have Lime, and I hear me talk to this morning. The Digicel service seem to be woefully down. People who have Lime are getting service, but the power is the bigger part of the problem across the country this morning. And it will be for, I would like to say, days. I hope it doesn't go beyond a few days because there's so much power lines down across the country. That is going to take a bit of time for power to be properly restored across the country. We have to take that into consideration, but as well as we are depending on the JCF along with the Army to do these work expeditiously across the country. Expeditiously across the country so the country can start moving once again. So the country are able to move once again. But the bigger part of the problem with communication is the power outage across the country, as I am understanding it, because people's phones or the internet systems are not charged. So it's difficult for them to get communication. I do think so, Maureen. It is the time for us to have that conversation. Should we invest in solar energy or should we continue in this third world stage? Should we continue in this third world stage or should we look at other alternative which could make it easier for the country to be up and running after a few hours of disaster? But we hope there's no more fatality than what we've heard about. We hope the country made it through without any major disaster to life and persons. We know there's a lot of disaster to properties across the country. And what my cousin there tell me as well in a full community, every tree and bush flatten. He said every tree and bush flatten, you can't see from one community to the other. Because trees and bushes are flattened. But I'm waiting for him to come back with further assessment. If him phone managed to hold up, because he's the only contact in the family at the moment. I mean, will say him probably a car charge him, probably car charge him phone. So let's see how it goes, and let's see how quick JPS can move around the country, erecting and stabilizing all these lamp poles so the country can really get moving again. Black River, so what the new market flood out. Possible Pamela, okay, you know we are St. Elizabeth, there are a lot of St. Elizabeth lands flood prone. So you might never know what one of St. Elizabeth, Pamela. That's why we said, me tell my cousins that we need an assessment of Black River as well, but it'll take them few hours to get a Black River on foot, given how the roads are at the moment and them can't move with vehicles. No, sir. I know the Prime Minister for buy donkey giveaway because donkey would be the more fast and comfortable way of moving right here now because car or nothing can drive. So you might as well have a donkey where you can move around the country without have to be walking from east to west. But we hear says St. Thomas, don't fear it off good neither. We hear say the Prime Minister, as the girl would put it, highway. The Prime Minister highway no face it off good. We don't see a lot of people them this morning. We don't see people like Beat and Teeth. We don't see people like Anthony R. We don't see people like Christine Gilbert. All heap of people in the comment a morning time from yard. All of them get cut off. All of them get cut off this morning. Very few of our people from yard in the comment this morning. Opa people where they were used to there because say the power issue. I about to fell out of my seat with the donkey. No, but how so do Maria? I died. That's the best way to move, especially my community at the moment. We car or bike or them something they can move. You would move better and safely on a donkey, to be honest with you. So Prime Minister, if you know a donkey there, if you know no donkey there sell pan wholesale price, Prime Minister, the community need to be able to move. And donkey is the only thing, Prime Minister, we can carry with this morning. Only donkey can cross it, Prime Minister. Not another soul. Not another soul, Prime Minister. Hold on there, my cousin I call back. Hold on. Marsh. Yo. What you say over there now? Out of Everett. Uh-huh. Seaside is a disaster. Jesus. What on reach load or wind that already? Which side on reach? Huh? You the win, Dad? Adventist Church up gone? Then I host up them down a seaside blow off? Huh? For Gibbs? Your reception going in and out, me understand though. What happened to over Auntie Iselin? Say that again? So what happened to over Auntie Iselin? Don't I be a host? Any damage to anyone? Your reception very bad though. Have you managed to get through to Flight Green? Try to call him direct until you get him and make him know the party need urgent. Because I not get through to him on WhatsApp. Make him know the party need urgent response. Huh? Yeah, me I go asking in my audience if anyone outside of St. Elizabeth can call Flight Green directly. Because St. Elizabeth people are not able to get in touch with him. What the water is like there? What the flooding? The waves? Okay. So the housing condition is the dire situation across the country, the housing and the road and power. Part of school roof mash up. Well, just this house roof gone. Donovan, Boycott, Julie. And where you say upper Angel them did blow off too? Or for Kathleen them? So if you can stay at Springfield and look a window, that means that every tree and Maras flatten. Wow. Michelle? Wow. Any assessment done on Spice Grove? You have any word out of Spice Grove? Huh? I can't hear you. Spice Grove and Gravesend. Any assessment from them place there? Me lose you completely. Me not hear you anymore. If you hear me, me not hear you. Oh, my people, it cut off. The devastation in my community goes on and on and on. him said the flooding is not too bad. The flooding is manageable. The tides are manageable. But he said road and house bear the brunt of it. The vegetation, whatever they may be, bear the brunt of it, because you can stay from one area and I look straight on the house them in another area, which wasn't possible because we have these forest-like areas that separate some of our community. And from you can turn in a one community and I look into the other, it means that everything in its part was flattened. Many of the houses lost their roof. That is the biggest problem he's identifying. He also said there is no damage to any persons or loss of life. But roofs, a lot of roofs have gone. Many trees and lampposts are down, damaging the road as well. So those are the biggest part that he's identifying at the moment, along with the services that are down, i.e. the power. Mainly, there's no power on that section of the island. So us St. Elizabeth people kind of really get cut off. Us, particularly Southwest, we really kind of get cut off right now. I told my cousin can charge his phone in a him car. A few people in the community. I know my brother will own Pelican Bar, him have solar. We have solar at home, plus him also have generators. So my nephew then may be able to have service soon. I text one of my friends in Clarin, in St. Catherine, Portmore. He's okay. His service just came back on. If anybody, beat and teach there. If anybody here is in Jamaica that can contact Floyd Green directly for me, because I'm not able to get him on WhatsApp. My cousin, which his phone is one of the phone is working, he's calling him directly, but cannot get through to him. But very little communication is coming out of my area. Is there anyone here who can contact the minister directly to inform him that his constituency of Southwest St. Elizabeth, stretching from Pedro down to Black River, has been completely devastated, and there's urgent relief required, urgent cleanup and heavy lifting equipment from local government as well as JPS is required on the entire southwest coastline of Jamaica this morning. Some of the lines are down due to the hurricane. Yes, a lot of lines are down in my community at the moment. Lots of lines, lots of trees. So that is going to prove even a bit more difficult for the power to be restored to the country, because them can restore power until them secure all of these fallen poles. Them have to make case. Love Pelican Bar. How did the bar survive the hurricane. I have managed to speak to them, but there's a reef behind Pelican Bar which kind of ease off the strength of the wave before the wave would hit the bar, as well as because of the structure of the bar, the wind and the wave can pass through it easily, protecting it a lot of the time in this type of weather from total destruction. But I have managed to get an assessment of how Pelican Bar held up as well. Then I'm nephew in a compound line. Since morning. Everybody in my community, as I say, my community is cut off communication wise. So other than my cousin, we call direct because he can't even call via WhatsApp. He had to call me straight. That's the only way I'm getting information as well. You've been to Pelican Bar before, Beulah? Yeah, Pelican Bar is run by my brother. But I'm gonna head off now and go park the ride because the sun out there. But we're going to keep an eye on all the development coming out of the country. We hope that we will get an update soon from government as to how devastated the country has left with since the passing of the hurricane, and how they plan to tackle the cleanup efforts and give us some timeline, because this is a major cleanup effort. Major. Our community been through Gilbert, and I've never seen what my cousin is describing to us now. Our community have been through several storms and never heard of this type of devastation. But unlike the other storms, also the eye of this one scathed along the coastline that we live on. So that makes the devastation double the amount or triple the amount of what we would really use to on our neck of the woods, because the tree them really take a hit this time too. We tree them don't always majority left standing. The report may I get at the moment, most of them flatten. Most of them has been flattened. But thank you all very much for being here this morning. I hope you can join us back when we come back later to help to find some update for you, or to see what update is coming out from our country, or how much of our people in Jamaica manage to get back online after this Hurricane BERYL devastation. Thank you very much for being here with us this afternoon, this morning. We trust and hope that all of us family across the country is fine and well and is protected, and we will all hear from them soon. Thank you all very much, and good morning, good afternoon from the Global Television Group.